Yeah. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat pack in the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe, you already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the trade, yes and no.
Yeah, welcome to the basement. This is a surprise stream. Me and Adam were talking a little bit offline, and then we just decided that the conversation that we were having in private, we were just going to bring it to the stream for a little bit. Not going to be our typical hour-long stream. Maybe we'll do about 20, 25 minutes max. But if you guys heard, Barry Jackson reported earlier today that essentially Miami's package ain't moving shit for Brooklyn. And so we're essentially out on the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. And it means that we are indeed running it back, or that's what the report says for now. So, Adam, just want to kind of get your overall thoughts on that real quick, bro. Like, how you feeling after that news, bro?
I feel largely the same. I don't know what all this hoopla is about. I see the whole world going nuts and the world's on fire now that Barry Jackson and Tim Reynolds with a coordinated attack on the Twitterverse today. And everyone's freaking out, but to me, nothing has changed. I feel like we're in the same position as we were before. I've been saying it on my infamous 4 a.m. streams. I still getting KD or having a pretty good shot at KD because the Heat feel confident at that. But this whole thing with Tim Reynolds and Barry Jackson, very well-respected reporters, they're getting it from up high in the Heat front office, but nothing has changed.
Yeah, so one of the snags that they were talking about is them not being willing to give up Bam in this scenario, and it's because Brooklyn is pretty much looking for a historic trade package for Kevin Durant. Miami has 2 picks available to them now. They can open up a third by releasing the protections or make some kind of deal with OKC, and that'll make 3 picks and 3 pick swaps available to Miami to give over in addition to whatever couple of players that they give over for that. But that's not getting it done. And that's the theme that we've been seeing recurring between Utah and Kevin Durant. Is that a matter of these teams asking price being too high, or is it just that Miami just doesn't have a good enough package to compete with other teams that are in these conversations?
So I think it's a little bit of both. If it were any other year and a team made an offer of Tyler Hero, 2-3 first-round picks, and pick swaps for a Donovan Mitchell, I don't think the Jazz say no to that. They say yes, and they say thank you very much for doing business with us. But this year, because of Minnesota, because the Knicks have so many draft picks, you're in this spot where, okay, you might not be in that conversation just now unless a Donovan Mitchell asks to go to Miami. Same thing with KD, but with KD, it's a little different because he might be the best player ever to hit the trade market. So this is an unprecedented situation throughout the entire league where do we offer the whole farm? Do we have what package is sort of similar to this that would get you a Kevin Durant? I mean, do you have any off the top of your mind? Who would be the most comparable guy to get traded? So to me, it's impossible to gauge his value. So for the Nets, they're saying, no, we want everything and more. Everybody else is saying, well, he's a 33, 34-year-old superstar. Yes, a superstar, but, Achilles injury. We understand he has 3-4 years left on his deal, but that doesn't move teams to go get off of a Scotty Barnes or, who are the other ones? Zion Williamson. Like, nobody's going to offer that for a 34-year-old guy. It just doesn't make as much sense. And for the Heat, it doesn't make sense to offer Bam at all. And I keep saying it. I'm going to keep going over and over again. There are a multitude of reasons why you don't offer Bam in a KD deal. Yes, I get that. You will have a better chance at a title this year if you make that deal. But one issue, one mistake, and the franchise is done for the next 15 years. So the Heat are playing this right. They're playing it smart. And there's nothing more to say on that.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Like anything, if it wasn't Bam, if it was anything short of Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler holding this trade up, then I think there would be a legitimate reason for Heat fans to have a gripe. But it's kind of like Bam is the cornerstone of your franchise. He will be that moving forward. And so to include him in a deal for some kind of short-term thing just doesn't feel like a move that's in the best interest of the team overall. Like Bam is a win now player. He's also a win later player. So to kind of, put him in that deal just doesn't make a whole lot of sense on top of everything else that you'd have to give up in terms of this package. So it feels like increasingly every day that it feels more and more like Kevin Durant's going to start the season with Brooklyn. Like, is that, are you getting the same sense, or do you feel like, maybe just wait a little bit down the line, a deal could be done around like camp or something like that? You're on mute. You're on mute still.
Sorry, I was just playing around with the trade machine. I'm not even kidding. I was on the trade machine. So no, I don't think this goes on into the season. I still think KD gets traded. I think Donovan Mitchell gets traded. Teams do not want to go into training camp. I don't care what the Nets say. They don't want to deal with that mess of Kyrie and KD both in training camp. So I think that's part of the reason why news broke Monday about Jaylen Brown from the Nets side, because I think the Nets understand that, okay, teams aren't really budging, so we need to sort of create a market for ourselves by announcing that Jaylen Brown was offered 2-3 weeks ago. And if we sort of let that be known, maybe there will be some simulation in the market where Miami might offer, an extra first rounder or two. Phoenix might figure out a way to get a third or fourth team involved. Toronto starts to maybe budge on their Scotty Barnes, on Scotty Barnes. So I think that might be the reason why Brooklyn finally decided to say, okay, we need to use the media to our advantage even more so and play the game in a dirty way. I'll tell you that. Players, teams, executives, they don't like what Brooklyn did on Monday. Nobody likes when a trade offer gets leaked without that trade being finalized. So Brooklyn, I think, is playing a very risky game by saying what the trade offer was, because you could go cold by that happening and then no market stimulation happens. So if you announce the Jaylen Brown offer and then suddenly Boston says, we don't want to play this game with you, we're out, right? Now you don't have that Jaylen Brown offer, and you're hoping that these other teams up their offers. And if they don't, now you're left scrambling. Nobody took the bait that you put out there, and you're getting closer and closer to training camp. That's how a team gets fleeced right there. That's the exact recipe for a team to get fleeced.
Yeah. So before we move on, because I do think it's an interesting point about what they did with the Boston situation, I kind of want to dig into that a little bit more. But just like my man Gavin said, man, the only type of currency that we have here on this network at the time on these streams is likes. So make sure you leave us a like. If you're not already subscribed to The Basement, please subscribe to The Basement channel. If you do want to donate, make sure you visit our website at www.thebasementsportsnetwork.com. We have a donate button on there. That way you can give us some money until the super chat pops up. If you also want to sponsor, make sure you check out our sponsorship page on the website as well. We're still accepting sponsors. Look at that. Look at my man Justin in the background doing the Lord's work because he missed his cues the last time, trying to make sure he on it. So we appreciate that. Yeah, Justin, you can move that shit. So I did. He's coming. You can shake your head all you want to. My boy's in here. So
no, it wasn't about Kendall. It was about Justin taking too long. He'll figure it out.
Oh yeah. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, y'all see my boy just showed up in here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time for my member of the Kane game, my boy Kendall, the boy Dale. Follow that boy on Twitter. Kendall, me and Adam just kind of got into a little bit of the KD situation, Barry Jackson's report that Miami pretty much ain't got a good enough offer. How does that make you feel right now?
It's stuff we already knew, so it's just funny that it's coming to fruition in front of us. It means that we're gonna have this town hall meeting, pitchforks gonna come out. And we're gonna get at Pat Riley, like my man Threat said. He already put the plan together. He picked the venue. Microphones and megaphones have been purchased. But no, it sucks. It sucks like a motherfucker because, hey, man, y'all know I don't like this squad. Nasty work, Ali. Get that motherfucker off the screen. Thank you, Justin. But yeah, bro, it's like, it sucks. But like Adam said, that the Heat are like now using the media to like get messages out there. They serious about not including Bam, so I respect that. You know what I'm saying? They standing on it. They not folding. But it's gonna be tough if they gonna have to run this roster out there, my boy.
No, for sure. I do think part of that getting the news out about not including Bam is in response to the news that came out that maybe he might have been in some of those trade talks.
No, I think it was in response to the Jaylen Brown thing.
That them putting Bam. So the Jaylen Brown thing is interesting because you put out a tweet about it, Adam, and I think it was kind of like Boston was telling Jaylen Brown that he wasn't in trade talks. Then the news comes out about Jaylen Brown being in trade talks, and then you get the response from Jaylen Brown on Twitter. Does that, in your eyes, does that kind of open up some kind of room for a deal to be made for Jaylen Brown?
I think so. There's always the possibility. So, like I said, Brooklyn's playing a very risky game, and possibility still exists where, okay, Jaylen Brown's already upset. We might as well move him in a Kevin Durant deal and offer that extra first rounder or offer that extra player that Brooklyn's looking for. So the chance that he ends up in Boston is still there. It's still a threat. It's still relevant up until the moment where Boston does what the Heat did tonight and say, we're not trading for Kevin Durant. We're not pursuing Kevin Durant because we already gave our Jaylen Brown offer. We already upset him. You guys then leaked it. We are no longer entertaining this game. So I think if Boston lets it be known throughout the media that they're not playing in this game, that's it. I still think Miami is still very much playing this game, and they're using the media to their advantage, finally. But at the same time, we've seen this happen twice before with Jimmy Butler when he was in Minnesota, where they announced just before the season started, we're not playing this game. We'll wait until Minnesota comes back with a reasonable offer. And then we saw it again with James Harden right before the season started, where the media did the exact same thing, where they said, we like our roster. We'll wait. It's copy and paste, the same exact attack that the Heat gave out to these big reporters. They're doing it again now. But this time, there is a way to find out whether or not the Heat are bluffing. And that is through Tyler Hero, whether or not he gets extended. If he doesn't get extended, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, why are you lying to us? We know you're not serious about pulling out of this. Extend Tyler Hero or I won't believe you. Once you extend Tyler Hero, then okay, we'll move on. But at this juncture, you're still in it until KD gets moved.
That's a tough position for both sides to kind of be in because they're both kind of playing chicken. Kendall, who do you think blinks first? Do you think Tyler Hero ends up getting this extension and we just kind of move on that way? Or do you think they hold out and, KD gets moved to a different team for potentially a worse package?
I think the Heat, like they already done showed with the PJ thing, the PJ situation, like, and letting him go. I think they going to, and kind of learning from, I guess you can call them mistakes. I mean, even though they didn't have success going to the finals and the Eastern Conference Finals 2 out of the last 3 years since we got Jimmy. I think they're going to hold on it. I don't know. I think as long as there's a chance, I don't think they're gonna extend Hero. Like they're gonna run it up to that deadline, which is like October 4th or something like that. Like
even after that deadline, why extend them?
They can just wait until next summer, right?
They're not gonna jump on that because I personally I think Pat yes he likes Tyler, but like after that performance in the playoffs and then I'm ready to start and him to come out and say, oh, go earn it. And becoming a two-way player. Like he has reasons to be like, and the front office has reasons to be like, we're not because you want 6-man. And yeah, like King Fam said, like it would essentially remove us out of the running. And I just don't think that the Heat are gonna do that. Like they will be playing them.
Could you imagine?
If you extend Tyler Hero, you take your best tradable asset out of any deal. Like,
could you imagine selling to the fans? Okay, we are going to extend Tyler Hero before Kevin Durant gets moved, we're taking ourselves out of the running for Kevin Durant because we don't want to upset our team.
Yeah, like the Heat, they've done things that for me personally that I couldn't stand. Like they haven't moved off things, but like they wouldn't do that. Like
I don't think so.
They're not doing that, bro. Like we're not. That's because it's just like if you do that, you might as well like start looking to see what you can get from Jimmy, in my opinion, because it's like, especially if Donovan Mitchell gets moved.
Well,
like,
let's get into before we get into the Jimmy part. Let's say you extend Tyler. Right. What is then your next best asset? It's the picks.
It's Kyle and picks. Well, picks essentially.
Yeah,
but make money, and then the only money you have to move is Kyle and Duncan.
Sure, and I think the one issue that I've had with the Heat this offseason is I would have made a Duncan Robinson for a Jeremy Grant trade. I would have done that, knowing the Kevin Durant news is out there, because you could still do a KD trade without Duncan Robinson. So I would have done that. But I think outside of that, I wouldn't say that there is anything wrong with the Heat did. I think maybe the issue is you don't have a starting four and you let PJ walk for nothing. If they had kept PJ not at the mid-level, but right underneath the mid-level, if he had taken that a raise, you're then essentially running it back. And then you're fine, right? Then you're just in a holding pattern and waiting for someone better to become available. But what you're doing now is you're doing less than running it back. You lost a core player, and now you're going into the season without a clear answer at the four. If Caleb Martin is your answer at the four right now,
you're worse than last year by a substantial margin.
You're worse. Two, I can count 4 teams off the top of my head that are better than you in the East. And I can count teams that seem to me like they're ready to take that regular season leap. Not the playoff leap, but the regular season leap. Like the Cavs, the Hawks, the Raptors. These teams are ready to, surprise us in the standings. And the Heat don't have a starter at the 4.
And they don't have the requisite talent to be putting themselves in a position where they're fighting an uphill battle come playoff time. Like the regular season isn't 227 people watching, 63 likes. Yeah, let's try to get this video up to 200 likes, man. It takes nothing. Just give us a quick like real quick. Make sure you subscribe if you want to subscribe.
A 5-minute stream. A 5-minute planned stream. We have 231.
You are being very gracious with that 5-minute number. We told the rest of the team that we were doing the stream 10 minutes like as we were on StreamYard. I do like this question from Ben, and I know he's asking Adam. So he's like, why do you think KD's camp has been so quiet?
Yeah, no, it's curious because if you requested a trade, you would want to get out as soon as possible. You're in an uncomfortable situation. You don't want to still be in New York. You don't want to have that option of showing up to training camp, still be there. But I think KD has enough respect for the Nets front office for one, granting that trade request and currently looking for trade offers to sort of let them do their thing and let it happen. He gave where he wants to go. He's going to give it until the start of training camp before starting to make it ugly. At this time, I don't think KD is in a position where he feels he needs to make it ugly. When we get to training camp, that's where things will change because now you're forcing him into an uncomfortable situation. But right now, if I were KD, like I get it. Don't do anything. Trust the people that you put your trust in for the last 2-3 years to move you to the place that you want to go to. And until then, just sit tight.
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons that this report has been so polarizing amongst Heat Twitter is because of the running back phrase. Like it wasn't just the fact that they don't have a good. Yeah, I understand, but I'm just saying it wasn't the fact that we just didn't have enough to get KD. It was the fact that Barry in his report said something to the effect of Miami is happy with their team or they're fine with their team, and they're
more importantly, Barry hid this in his article. They're moving on. Like he said something along the lines of they're moving on from the KD pursuit.
Right, and it's kind of like, okay, well, what's next then? Like,
yeah, you're moving on, huh? Like
you're moving on. So if you're moving on from KD, then what's the next move? And Kendall, I'm gonna toss it to you. we're moving on from KD. What do you do at this point in the season? Because you hear names like John Collins flying out.
We're moving on because Tyler sent us a mean text the other day.
But I want to know, like, what's the next move?
Y'all know we got to break out the religions. If you're Christian, Muslim, you got to start praying to your Almighty Savior. But no, seriously, bro, what's the next move? Honestly, I was down for the asset stacking, trying to get another one like in John Collins. But hey, man, I just seen John Collins get did in the Drew League, and I know we ain't got no premier pick and roll player that can open up the floor for John Collins. So I think the Atlanta John Collins definitely wouldn't translate to Miami. But I trust Spo with talent. So it's like, yeah, shout out to Heather. So it's like, get him, I guess, bro. But it'll be a downer. Like, and I can say this: I don't believe in nothing none of these reporters say. Like, I think in terms of like when it comes to the Heat, they feed them what they want to know and how they want things to look. Like someone said that they're like kind of like the mafia or whatever, like the way they move. Like they give out messages that they want us to hear and like to press buttons, not only with fans but like on other teams. So get a 4, I guess, but I don't know. After John Collins, it's like, bro, it's to the point I'm not trying to give up a pick for Harrison Barnes.
No, I don't think I was.
Yeah, you're not giving out a pick, and I want not to look back to last trade deadline, but there was a certain player that a majority of Heat Twitter wanted, and there was a faction of Heat Twitter that said we were insane for wanting him because he didn't help this year's team. That player's name, PJ Washington. PJ Washington would currently be the starting 4 for this team. Duncan Robinson might be the starting 4 for this team opening night.
I saw some iteration of them having a lineup with Tyler. Was it Tyler and Duncan or Max and Duncan?
It was Tyler, Max, Duncan, Jimmy, and Bam.
Good for the playoffs. I'm fine with that for the playoffs, but like
with Kyle Lowry still on the roster?
Yeah, I mean Jimmy's going to be your 4 in the playoffs. He's going to be, but for 82 games,
he might be your 4 in the regular season. We might have to put Jimmy at the 4 in order to win games.
I will say, I do think there is a chance that we get a. I don't think they're going into the season like this. I really don't.
No, KD or not. I want to throw this to you. No, KD. What's the move? Like, where do they pivot to?
They're going to surprise the team or the fans by doing something that nobody expected. To me, that surprise move feels like Kelly Oubre at the 4.
Ooh, he plays for Charlotte still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Charlotte for Kelly for Duncan type thing.
Yeah, something like that, where it's like Duncan, one of the marginal assets, two of the marginal assets for Kelly Oubre. To me, that sounds like something that the Heat would do to sort of patch up that spot and still have the flexibility to go after another guy.
Yeah, if they can go ahead, bro.
No, you got it.
No, I was about to say, and if they can find a way to get PJ Washington in there too, then more power.
I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right.
No, not after Mr. Bridges.
That's the name I keep saying, bro. Why are we not checking in on somebody like Cam Reddish?
Cam Reddish is in a 4.
He's not. He's a wing.
But you're not going to give anything up to get Cam Reddish. Like, you're not going to give something of substance or of value.
That's true. Let's go in a different direction outside of the 4. Like, I know it was a name that was coming up last year, like Colin Sexton. Any merit in them trading for Colin Sexton, keeping him around for a little while, and then using him as a trade asset at the trade deadline?
Royal, I was so against it last year when everyone wanted to trade Tyler for it. I was so against it. This year, though, Duncan Robinson sign and trade for Colin Sexton.
Turn it up.
sign sixth man of the year, Colin Sexton? Absolutely.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna hold you. He's starting on my roster.
In my narrative, Kyle Lowry, the sixth man of the year.
I mean, look, if they can swing that, if they can swing like a Duncan and a pick, sign and trade for Colin Sexton, pay Colin like $20 million a year. His agency is Clutch Sports, by the way. Do it, right? That's another asset that you can get. He's young. What is he, 23, 24 years old?
Yeah.
Do it. But, Rich Paul.
So when you say clutch or whatever, is that more Miami need to get out their feelings?
Yes.
I think so.
Absolutely. If you're not signing, I'll say it now because I've sort of been saying it in private chats. If you don't sign a player that is involved in a very big agency, and I think Clutch Sports at this point is getting to that point where they're a big agency. If you're not signing a player that you really like because of his agency, because of something that happened 10, 12 years ago and the bad blood between that, you shouldn't have a front office role. You shouldn't.
Yeah, I think at some point they just got to, Justin, to answer your question, I think at some point they just got to put that beef aside because at the end of the day, Clutch is grabbing up a bunch of people who could really help Miami's team. And so there's going to come a point where they're going to have to deal with it. You can't avoid it. Like they're probably going to represent everybody. But we did tell y'all that this was going to be a light stream. We don't want to give away too much of the conversations because we want to keep you guys coming back. We appreciate you guys for joining us. So thank you guys in the comments as always for joining the show, making it much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to Adam Borai for putting together this random ass stream. My boy, Kendale, jump in there, add to the conversation. Appreciate you as always, my guy. Listen, 239 people making it to the end of this video. We appreciate y'all, but make sure y'all leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe to the Basement Sports Network. Make sure you visit our website. Check it out. We put a lot of work into that. Make sure you guys donate if you guys have the opportunity. We will be getting super chats back up for y'all. That's why we're doing these streams. Y'all got to watch these videos so that we can get that super chat up. But, yeah, we'll see y'all next time we decide to do anything. That might be tomorrow. Probably won't be, though. Play the video, Jonathan.
Yeah, we packing somebody up tonight. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat packing the air. We about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe. You already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the trade, yes and no. Friends and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul. When the ring is the goal. But if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing. Like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes. Going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your